week because it's already been quite big already. It's only Tuesday.
Yeah, I guess there's an element of trying to get most of it out early in the week and then focus on what we need to do and prepare in the manner that is professional and that's needed for a big game, which is going to be on Saturday night. But it is pretty hard to keep it low key when Adidas make a cake for me.
What will happen on the actual night? Will you have much of a role, or you try to keep yourself away from?
Well, hopefully I'll play well and we win. That's the role, hopefully. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, sorry, like your family coming over and
yeah.
that sort of stuff. Yeah,
Mum and Dad and my sister and her boyfriend are coming over. Hopefully my nan and one or two others from Adelaide. And then obviously Lauren's family and some close mates as well. We've got a mate coming in from the US who's been over there doing some work. So, looking forward to having everyone there and celebrating with them post-game, but obviously with all the staff and the players as well.
Are you allowing yourself to enjoy the build-up towards it?
There's elements that I'll certainly enjoy and embrace, and you have to. You can't avoid those things. So that's the case. But really, when you get out to training and when you come into the club, it's a normal week and a normal preparation for a game. So it doesn't change that much. It's just a bit of external hype and noise around the event, and obviously having mum and dad and some friends here isn't normal as well. So it'll be good to catch up with them, but I'll try to keep the routine as normal and as routine as possible.
What does it mean to you? Because there's not many players that have got to 300.
It means a lot, I think, to my loved ones. So they've seen all the hard work, all the extra ice bars, the day spent down the beach, the extra yoga sessions, the corkies, limping around post-game, during the week, getting up to play, the mental anguish, the roller coaster ride that is the AFL probably mean a lot to Lauren and the great support she has been, and to mum and dad as well. So it clearly highlights there's been an enormous amount of dedication on my behalf and desire to continue to play at a high level and represent the footy club. But I think mum and dad and Lauren will really get the most out of it seeing me run out there on Saturday.
Has it been that desire and extra work, do you think, that's got you to 300 when no one else has been able to do it and some of the greats have fallen short? Have you been able to get your head around why you...
I've been pretty lucky. I think that's the first point to put on the table. And touch wood, there's some more luck over the next couple of weeks and years, however long I play for. But I've been lucky with injuries. I've played with a lot of guys over the journey that have had horrific luck with injuries, soft tissue, knees, ankles, hips, whatever it is. And although I've had my fair share, 9 operations and plenty of little niggles along the way, I've been pretty lucky in general. So that's the first point. But certainly, the level of professionalism that's required to play week in, week out for 15 years and travel the way we do, it's taken a lot of mental application and ensuring that I'm up to speed, crossing every I, dotting every I and crossing every T. How am I going? Ensuring that my body and preparation's right.
Just on the travel, a lot of ex-WA players say that the constant travel may have cut their career short by 30 games or something like that. How much of a toll does it take you physically and mentally?
I think it's just the accumulation. So week in, week out, having to jump on a plane every second week, and over career, it certainly takes its toll. But I think the thing that I will say that has countered that more recently is the advances and the advent of sports science, recovery, rehab. That's certainly taken a much higher level of importance more recently, and I think that's certainly assisted players from the West, playing longer careers.
Can we take you back 15 years ago to your first training session here? Didn't quite go to plan, did it?
No, Aquinas College, I had arrived the previous night, not long after being drafted, and trained for about an hour or so, and then on the 6th 1K time trial that was on the back of the training session, I collapsed and passed out and was rushed in the back of our property van to Murdoch Hospital and had a couple of nights of intensive care, and was a pretty sheepish 17-year-old after that for a couple of weeks. Very embarrassed about it, and certainly wasn't the right way to start an AFL career.
What about your first games, I suppose? What do you remember from them?
First game against Melbourne at the Wacker in round 5, 2000. Just remember being so excited to start my career. I lined up next to Mods in the goal square, who was a childhood hero of mine growing up in Adelaide. The ball landed in my lap in the first 30 seconds and kicked a goal. And then David Nates came down and played to me not long after that, and I hardly got a touch. So it was a sharp reminder of the reality of AFL. And, you know, I've grown up alongside the footy club. I've said this before, but we both had our teething problems. We've matured together. We've had some ups and downs. We've had some great moments. And, you know, now we find ourselves both in a situation where hopefully we can propel and have great success.
How hard was it for you, obviously being in a close-knit family, to come all the way to Perth?
Yeah, initially really hard. You know, I'm really tight with mum and dad and my sister, and you know, my broader family as well, particularly dad's side of the family. So it was always a challenge. But once I got here to Perth, I didn't put any boundaries on how long or you know what my stint would be in the AFL. I just wanted to embrace the club, embrace Perth, and you know, I've absolutely loved Western Australia and Perth, and obviously met my wife here, and I find myself here 14 and a half, 15 years later.
Before you got drafted, was it true that you told Damien Drum that your worst nightmare of the Dockers?
I don't know where that one's come from. I didn't say that to Damien. I probably thought it internally and said it to mum and dad potentially. But look, I just wanted to play the AFL. I was a kid who, this is my dream. I'm living my dream, and I'm so lucky to have done it for a long period of time. And the dream became the Fremantle Football Club, and it's become my home. And as I said, I've grown up alongside the club.
Once you were here, did you ever consider going back to South Australia? The club's trying to approach you to poach you back?
Yeah, I've been on record plenty of times saying that I strongly considered some options throughout my career at some different junctions, but you know, realistically, it never got too far down that path because of the commitment I had to the club, the faith they'd shown in me. I wanted to repay that, and I knew there was some unfinished business at the football club, and I wanted to be right at the forefront of that. And you know, mum and dad instilled some really strong values in me, and that was, you know, if you start something you think it's worthwhile enough, you might as well stay the course and stick it out. And I've certainly thought that's the case at Fremantle.
Was it Adelaide or Port who you went closest to perhaps going back to?
I'm not sure, Barry. Who do you think?
I don't know. I'm asking for the guys in Adelaide, the 7 guys in Adelaide. They'd like to know.
Mark Williams had
I don't
a
think
crack
I
at
even
the
know.
game, didn't he? Port played Fremantle at Patterson's, and Mark Williams had a crack at you.
Verbally at me, do you?
Oh yeah, saying that Matty Pavlich made his decision and he wasn't very happy. So in his mind, he must have been reasonably close going to Port. What thought about it?
I might save it for a few years' time, but certainly there was some offers made, and I've been on record as saying as I explored those options, and like any person in any career, they were offers that it would be negligent on my behalf not to look at and take seriously. But long story short, I've been wearing purple from day dot and will until I finish.
What about from Melbourne? Was there much pressure from some of the power clubs there to try and get you as well?
There was interest from other teams, not only from Adelaide, but again, never explored enough or considered enough to really any great extent.
Was there ever a plan B? What do you see yourself doing if you weren't playing for the Dockers or AFL?
Well, I've been at uni for the last 14 years, studying part-time, which actually sounds really depressing now that I say that. Completed an undergrad at UWA and now doing some postgraduate study. So I would have stayed in Adelaide. I would have studied at the University of SA Underdale campus and probably done sports science like I did at UWA to begin with. And who knows? I mean, that's the great thing about this game. I've learned so much about myself. It always challenges you. The industry never stops still. You got to keep moving with it, and I've learned to grow along with it, with the industry, along with the club, more than I ever thought I could possibly grow. And the person I've become by virtue of being a Fremantle Football Club player and the people I've associated with, you know, I'm very fortunate.
How do you see yourself as a player? I mean, you played down back early on and through the midfield at times and forward. How do you see yourself?
Well, hopefully someone that's always provided a really high level of consistency both in training and in games. A versatile option for the coach to use me in different positions, and someone that the team could rely upon.